Hello everybody. Alright, this is the second video in my series attacking the Sicilian defense. So, today we're gonna go over gameplay in Kante Minsk. 2009. Alexander Ereshchenko versus Fidel Corrales Jimenez, and White won this game. And so here we go. We get a dragon variation, as we had in the last video in this series. Alright, so this time we see bishop c4 again, bishop d7 the main move, this is the main line, h4, and there bishop b3. So black, his idea is to trade the knight on c4 eventually, and play b5, a5, try to attack white, possibly queen a5 first. Obviously there's always the possibility of the exchange sack on c3 by a rook for like the pawn structure to try to get a nice position, but we're trying to attack this, so we'll show you what white should do here. Alright, now white has two options in this position. Not so good as g4, and here's why. After hg, there takes, or dg1, queen a5, bishop h6, going to try to trade the bishops on g7 and try to weaken the king. Black has the strong exchange sack, as he typically does in the thematic variations. And after something like this, alright, yeah, that's a nice tactic here. Let's see, why would he do that? Alright, okay, his rook's under attack. If he takes, he can't move it, so he must he can't move it because it's pinned to his queen. If he were to move it back, I'm not so sure about that, but I think he has to respond to the threat of queen h6 here, so that's why he just sacks the rook to just give it up for some material. I mean, he is already up, he got a piece for it, so after king takes, rook over, king d1, takes. I would assume that white has a somewhat better position here. I'll turn on Houdini just to confirm that. I'd say, not so good actually. The computer does not like this. So, where did white go wrong here? Maybe I put in the variations wrong. What did I do wrong here? Bishop g5, knight c4, rook c5, g4. Oh no, this is nothing like. I probably told you. Oh, that was after g4. Yeah, so black's pretty good there. So that's a suboptimal try, g4. Now we're going to go to the optimal, bishop g5. Right, so this move, well, it gets out of the way of knight c4s, so he doesn't have to trade the light squared bishop for it. And also, that's the main point, and it prepares g4. And it could also trade itself for the knight in a good position, if necessary. Alright, so as we see, knight c4, he should play queen e2. So what about knight h7? Well, we want to trade for the bishops over there on h6, and takes. Rook takes c3 does not work in this position because after taking queen a5, white has two options here. He can play the optimal king b1, which is going to lead to a good position after knight e2, attacking the queen. Queen c5, g4, knight takes, rook d5, so you want to try to bring the rook up to the attack and try to make the queen move. So queen f2, attacking the knight. So you want to just completely go for the attack here. So taking on h5, if you take the knight here, well, I think that's what, oh no, if you would take the knight, then pawn takes, and after queen takes, rook h5, I'm assuming, is going to end the game on h7. So, oh no, well, my bad. There's a bishop on b3. I gotta look at that. So, yeah, you're just completely crushing him. Then now I realize the bishop's on b3. Alright, anyway, so g5 takes queen e3. So maybe try to pin the g pawn to the queen on h6 to try to slow white down a little bit. Well, frankly, it doesn't work because you're going to try to make that queen chew. So after bishop g4, rook d1 d3, queen takes e2, g6, white's just breaking through. He has his rooks, queen, and bishop, and pawns in the attack. As Kasparov once said, that the pawns can be as good as a piece in the attack when they're close to the king. And so that's what we see here. And after, after knight hg5 takes, check, king up. You can do the analysis yourself if you want to analyze even further into this by pausing the video. Takes, queen f6, takes, bishop f7 here, and white would secure a pretty good advantage in this position after bishop f7 and rook d6, and he has a win. Alright, so that would be that variation, so that's why that's not that good for black. If he plays, what is this? I think it's far back here, knight h7, I think. Yeah, that's if he plays knight h7. Alright, so as you can see, it's a maze variation. That's what you're going to get in the Sicilian. Alright, and a6, g4, takes, h5, knight takes, knight d5, rook d8, rook e8. Alright, takes, so you want to just sack the exchange, go for the attack, bishop h6, try to trade off the bishops, use all your pieces, your knights, your bishop on b3, bishop on h6, yeah, you get the point. And queen h2, so now black has two options. You can play rook c4 and g takes f3. First I'll show you how to refute this. You just take bishop g4, queen h4, rook c7, so I'm assuming that the pressure on e7 forces him to sack the exchange there, so rook h7, rook h1, knight g6, and after queen h7 check, king h8, bishop h6, so we're really going in for the king here, and bishop takes, queen takes, king b8, after I assume knight h6 is crushing here, or knight takes e7. So yeah, you just play through on g6 and after king f8, rook h8 to mate. So that's what's bad about that. So next, we're gonna go on to the next variation now. So that's a6. That's why that's not very good. Of course, but we'll show the other option instead of rook c4. Instead of g takes f is rook c4, but after queen h5, f6, bishop h6, so we're trying to trade off the bishop and mate black. The bishop is attacking the rook on c4. We didn't want to take that immediately because he's going to get nice compensation with his bishops and his knight and possibly queen b6 in a good position. But after this, black is just crushed because, well, the variations tell you all. Alright, and take e6, and we're just crashing through with the knight, so he has to give up material. f5 is one of his tries, but it's just gonna lose. Rook h1, and he's gonna get mated soon, as you probably can see. So yeah, there's no defensive threats to his king, like queen h7 and knight takes f5 and queen h8. So that's why rook c4, and that's why a6 is not a good move, because both of his options on move 18 are bad. Alright, so what about rook c5? Well, this is the important part. Okay, we don't want to go for g4 here. It's just not gonna work. Takes. I'll show you it quickly. Alright, rook e8, takes, queen h2. Now he can sack on d5 and play queen b6. And look at how the bishop and the queen coordinate, and also he has the possibility of knight takes there, and he's gonna end up surviving this after a nice move e6, and then white's attack isn't gonna break through here. Black can just play knight g6 and cover around the dark squares, so it's not gonna work. So instead, let's not play g4, let's play King B1, called advanced prophylaxis. Basically, we're just defending threats that aren't even being threatened yet. Alright, like potential checks on the H1 to G5 diagonal and some variation, as I've explained in the last video. So, B5, G4, A5. I'll show you some suboptimal play first. Rook E8, I think, was the old move, but after G4 takes F4, Knight C4, the ensuing position is not very good. Queen E2 attacks Knight, so he has to defend there with Queen C8. F5, Knight A3 is not very good, but we'll start out with Knight B2, which can be met by FG6, Knight D1, F takes E, and then Knight takes D1, Rook F8, and White has a better position here because he dominates the light squares. And yeah, the idea is like Knight F5, as the computer points out. So, instead of that, wait a minute. Yeah, White's doing good. I'm sorry, I thought it said Black was doing good. Takes, Rook takes C3, takes. Okay, we got the pin on G6 on F7 here, so it's actually exchange. Very tactical stuff, as all variations of this Sicilian tend to be. Queen D3, Knight H5, Rook HF1, Bishop E5. So look at how Black is trying to cover the dark squares and trying to survive, but White's attack is going to get through. Knight E2, we're bringing the knight around to try to exchange off for the knight on H5. It looks like Black is solid, but after some maneuvering, but White can break through. Knight F4, Bishop G4, Knight takes G6, Bishop takes, Queen takes, attacking the knight, gaining some time. G2, attacking the rook, Rook G1, defending that. So Bishop G7. I think Black's more concerned about holding his bishop than holding his knight because he wants to defend on the dark squares. Yeah, so I'm not gonna look at that because I don't want this video to be too long. Alright, so Queen C3, so he thinks Black might think that he's gonna somehow be able to mate White, but after E5 is a nice move to block the diagonal, and White just has a much better position now because Black's king is obviously the weak one. So, some pretty interesting lines. H5, well, we'll sack there. Queen takes H5. Alright, so we're still after Rook E8 here, just to remind you. We're after 14 Rook E8. It's very important to remember the moves, so just give you a little reminder here. So he sacks, pawn takes. So Black does have a nice dark square bishop, but White can still get through with an exclam move, Knight F5. So if he takes, he can take the knight on G6, as you see here. And if bishop there, banking on defense. Queen H5's good, attacking D6, possibly. So now he takes back. Rook attacks F7, so possibly White may be threatening, like Rook takes F7, followed by Rook takes G7 and taking on E8, possibly Bishop B3. So Queen E3, E5, pinning the knight to B2. Still we take on F7, takes, and we have G6 as a possibility to break through here, as you see after G3. We're just gonna play, what are we gonna play here? Let me turn on the computer see if I've been making a mistake here. Oh yeah, Black's better here, my bad. What was suboptimal about our play here? Oh yeah, you're not supposed to play H5, you're supposed to play F4. So yeah, so don't play H5 because that's what happens to you. Sorry, I get lost in the maze of variations. Alright, so those were the options. So those were rook c5, and then that was don't play g4 because we've seen earlier that's too premature. King b1 prophylaxis. B5, g4 is better here. A5. Now let's go over these two variations here. Bishop takes f6 is not very good, but we'll show you why here. After take a4, bishop. Black just has a fine position. As you can see, the computer evaluates it as equal. I'll keep the computer on just to check everything is sound, and to give you guys more confidence that I'm not full of crap. Alright, what about, that was that, so yeah, b5 is the main move. a5. What if you played h takes g4? Alright, h5, knight takes, knight d5, attacking e7, like e8, sack. Ooh, my computer, yeah, I've been running 4. Whoops. Whoa, that's not good. I'm gonna turn it down to 1 so I don't crash my computer. And maybe turn this off, my first video. Yeah, just X out that. Alright. Let's not try to crash your computer here, as I always forget. That's not very good. Alright. Hopefully it's gonna respond now. That's only one CPU. Alright, so queen h2. So black decides to give up the rook. How does this sound? How about a5? Wait, what's wrong here? This doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. How is this good? Oh yeah, it's bishop f6. My bad. Yeah, but you see here that black has a fine position. Instead, we should play. Wait. Yeah, h takes this. Knight d5. Right there. Sack. Take. Maybe the computer needs more time to think about this. Computer's not very good at analyzing such positions. Well, I bet if we give him more time, it'll keep seeing that it's gonna get better for white. If it can't, let's see what's the problem here. Okay, I'm gonna put this in just for my own benefit here. So queen a2. So a5. What's wrong about this? A5. New variation. Alright. Oh, now all of a sudden it sees that white's better. It's kind of funny how it's messed up like that. So yeah, that's pretty good for white. I'm assuming that these other moves aren't that great either, and it's gonna probably figure it out with time. So yeah, you can't really trust the computers even in such like water. A5. Let's look at this. A5. Oh, that's the game move. So what about rook d5? Bishop takes. Alright, we got the pin on f7. We can look at the bishop spinning on e7. It's kind of aesthetic how both bishops pin the pawns. That's funny. So what about queen c8 here? Queen takes. Pawn up. Bishop e3. Queen c5. Now we have two moves. I'm just gonna go with the optimal one, bishop h6, because I'm studying this from the white side. Sorry for the black players. Alright, now black has 5 options here, and I'll go through everyone very quickly. Bishop takes is not very good because white's pawns just go through, and the bishops, and then now he's starting with taking on g6. As you can see, it's crushing, so that's not very good. What about rook c8? Knight f5 here, takes, queen g5, knight g6 forced. You want him to not be c3. I think he has a nice resource of queen g6. Queen g6, yeah, queen c2, you can sack, and then after bishop takes, you can take the queen. So that's not very good. So you want to play c3 first. Funny thing about this position is both pins really can't be stopped. So even if he moves, the knight's pinned and the pawn's pinned. That's defending the knight. It's pretty cute. Alright, so yeah. So now there's four more moves. So we'll go through them quickly. Queen e5, you just take there, take, fg, fg, rook there, and we're breaking through on f7. Rook d6 is not as good. Actually, it's just probably the author thinks it's another interesting try. But yeah, I got this from a book. Most of these variations, I'd recommend it. It's called Attacking the Sicilian, I think, or something like that. My bad. I know you're like, oh, that's the name of your series. Funny. It's another book that I got. Yeah, it's Sicilian Attacks. I'll just open it. Oh no, that's on chess base. Well, it's from that book. Hello. It's my brother. Could you leave? I'm trying to do a video.
Sure.
Alright, so I think this is after rook c8. Yeah. So c3. Now what about bishop e8? Queen g6. Queen e5 takes on g4, and we're much better. So that's not very good. I mean g4, I mean f5. King f8. Queen f6 is a nice move here. If bishop takes h6, we just take on f7 mate. And we're threatening g7, and there's no defense. So that's that. So that was bishop e8. So king f8. Queen, yeah, that's what we just went over, sorry. d5 is the only move here. Bishop takes. Queen f8 is the only way to defend. Queen takes. Bishop, rook c6. Rook c6, queen g7. Queen g7, rook, bishop g7. King g7. Bishop c6, bishop c6. Rook g1, and we have a better position. A winning endgame. Though, not by that much. Alright. So that's that. So where were we again? Ooh, I think that was only if he, oh no, that was that. I think we covered that. So that's why rook d5 isn't very good. So a5 has nothing on it. Oh, what's the game variation? I think that's just an author's suggestion that I put in. So let's go to the game variation as I said as a variation. a5 takes, knight takes, knight g5, rook e8. What about, okay, f6 is not very good because knight takes f6. And then taking on there. And then knight e6, forking everything. a4 runs into knight e7, king there, king h7. Now we sack on g6, which is a nice move, attacking the queen, so it's a discovery, not really a sacrifice, and we're winning. And after rook e8, knight f4. I think this is in the main line actually. So what about knight we'll first start with knight takes f4. Queen takes, knight c4, queen g3, a4, bishop takes, pawn takes, h5. The computer is saying it's even, but as we said, the computers aren't really that good in these positions. It takes them a while to understand. Queen a5. Author recommends that move, but this is another move. I mean, this is the one that he recommended. Bishop d2, c3, bishop c3, rook c3, takes there, rook c5. Oh, now he has lots of choices. Let's just start out with the losing ones. Queen b6 loses to f takes, king takes, queen there. Okay, so he has to defend his king with some moves. So bishop so king g8, rook hg1, and he's absolutely going to lose because of the pin and just the fact that there's two pieces and no defense. That's mate. So that's that move. f5 runs into rook h7. Oh, rook b8, queen h4, rook b2, a nice sacrifice, but I mean, it doesn't work. Queen b4, king a1, bishop takes, and then that nice move forces mate after king g7, rook g8, check, and mate, or bishop takes, check, and then mate. Alright, so that's that. So that's queen b6 for you. Wait a minute. What was that? Isn't that queen b6? Yeah, that's queen b6. Alright, that's queen b6. Instead, f5 runs into death after rook h7, we'll just do that. Rook c6 is recommended. Lots of other desperate moves, but that looks like the logical option, but it just runs into mate after queen h4. And as we can see in many of these variations, the tactical theme of rook h8 followed up by queen h7 to queen f7 mate is a threat, which forces basically death after rook takes, queen check, king over, bishop takes, check, and as you see again, mate. So yeah, it's about the same finish as the other variation. So queen e5 runs into g7, gf7, king f7, queen takes, b takes, takes, rook b8, and white has a better endgame. Although I think that black has decent chances to hold here, as the computer says. It's practically even. So that's that. Yeah. There's still one more move. Rook c5 runs into the nice move e5. Rook takes, f4, rook f5, rook h7, rook g8, rook g1, rook f6, takes, king e8, rook h1, there, queen g6 check, king over. It's a lot of moves. Queen e4. So now, if you take a look at this position, black's king's more exposed. He does have the bishop over the knight, but after but white might be threatening knight c6 check or knight e6 check. And f5 is a good move for him. So white has a better in-game, as you can look at Houdini. So this gives white good chances here. So that's that. So that's not that bad of an option for him here. Is that what was played in the game? But a4, we'll go what's played in the game now. It's a lot of variations. It's tiring. Alright, that's that. Knight c4 runs into the take, knight takes, and white's winning because of the attack on black's king, which he can't defend. Alright, so yeah, bet 64 will probably get a lot bigger as the moves go on. a4 runs into bishop d5. If knight f6, h5 crashes through, For example, after e6 takes, bishop takes, and now see how the computer changes its mind frequently. Bishop takes f6, rook dg1, and white's crashing through, as I like to say a lot. Fs, yeah. Alright, so that was knight c4. So a5 knight. Oh yeah, knight. So after knight c4 here, takes, c3, queen e3, queen b6, b3 defending against man b2, takes, bishop h6, trying to exchange the bishops again, bishop f6, check, king h7, queen f4, takes b3, a takes b3, queen a6. Ooh, that's a blunder. What does it say to play? Rook. Okay, rook a. Okay, what's bad about this? It says bishop at g7, bishop takes g7, queen takes f7, bishop g4, knight e6, queen takes, c2, king there, takes, rook f1, rook h2, king d1, and he gets a draw. So this is suboptimal by white. Oh, where did white go wrong here? Forget. I'm just gonna go back to the beginning. So I'm just gonna go through the game now. It's where it gets kind of irritating because it's not very fun, but I think it helps the viewers by showing them the ideas and the variations, which the variations are very important as well, even though sometimes people act like they're not that important. If you're gonna play a sharp system, you better know the moves. This is what was played in the game. Queen a6 was the losing move. Rook a8 led to somewhat of a draw, but this is what happened. And white finishes the guy off. Knight e6, nice, very nice move. King g6. Okay, what if takes? Well, then you'd run into the taking there. And now we're going to open up the G file. So it's going to lead to mate. Obviously, you can see the queen and the rook are going to smash. So, king g6 takes. You're still trying to attack. Now we just take the rook here. After takes, g5 was a mistake. I think the guys were in time pressure here. G takes, king f7, f takes. If king takes e7, that runs into check, and mate. And if king e6 is playing the game, rook g6, queen d6, queen c6 takes, check, and mate. So white won a long battle. And as you can see, this is how many variations there are in just one game. So this is how complicated it is. And just to have some fun, I'll show you how much the whole database is. Put a little new moves in. I don't think I'll save it though. This is something else I'm working on here. So I'll just show you how much there is you need to know. Come on, look. Right, here it is. Alright, this is the whole database. Yeah, you get it. So just be prepared, guys. This is what you need to know. Yeah, enough trying to scare you away. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you will watch the next one in this series. I think I'll cover one more, maybe possibly two more dragon games, and then I'm going to go on to different variations. Until later, goodbye. Thanks for watching. Now I gotta turn this off. Alright, here we go.